15 years ago when I created this channel, and I created it for the purpose of somewheres to host my videos, somewheres just like upload, so I could share my aquariums with my local fish club. There was like no intentions or any real purpose of having a YouTube channel for a fish person back then. And when picking a username, I tried Joey, Joey01, Joey1, Joey123, all the combinations of Joey, all taken. I look over at my Uaru tank and I'm like, try that, Uaru Joey. It was available. Years later, after focusing on uploading a lot of do-it-yourself videos and tutorials and things that I was up to, the community dubbed me the King of DIY, choosing a better channel name for me. Why was I keeping Uaru in the first place? If you're not familiar, the Uaru, the one I kept, the species that I had, Uaru amphicanthioids, a South American cichlid, also known as the poor man's discus or the triangle cichlid, depending on what decade the book you're reading was written in. This is a cichlid that shares traits with the discus, and only 3 fish in the world do it, but they feed their fry off the mucus that they secrete from their skin. Now I chose the amphicanthioids simply because I was fascinated with the Uaru. It's kind of like a fish that doesn't have much coloration, but absolutely stunning in body shape and contrast in color. But it becomes a rather large, docile, and simply fascinating fish to keep. The real reason though, is because it's the cheapest Uaru you can get, and the easiest you can get. It's not the only type of Uaru you can get. Let me rephrase, it's not the only type of Uaru in the world. There's also the Uaru F, Uaru Fernanda Yepezi. We call it the Uaru F because nobody can actually pronounce its last name. Also known as the Panda Uaru. You see, the Panda Uaru shares all of those same breeding traits, comes from the same area, looks tremendously different, and you guys know that one of the things that I like getting is baby Uaru because they kind of look like rotted leaves when they're fry. This is a method of camouflage. As they get older, they get their adult coloration. The Panda Uaru also goes through that transition, but ends up being more cream colored, almost white and black. Kind of like the Leopoldi. Now obviously I never started off with Leopoldi stingrays, or black diamonds for that matter, because, well, they are too expensive, too hard to keep, or at least what I would have. They were just simply too expensive, so I started off with like the cheaper versions. The Uaru amphicanthioids is far cheaper, probably about 10% of the cost of a Panda Uaru, probably 10 times easier to keep, less finicky, less sensitive, but far more available. The Panda Uaru is absolute opposite of all of that. And 15, 20 years ago when I started keeping Uaru, not only did the cost scare me away, but their reputation for being incredibly difficult to keep. And to be honest with you, that kind of stuck with me for a very long time. Ooh, these are still warm. Good idea for the heat packs. Put them on cardboard instead, toss it on top, as opposed to, I know a lot of people pack and glue these to the top instead, and I feel like all the heat transmissions just goes through the lid. That's not a bad idea. The other day, coming up on my channel's 15-year anniversary a few weeks ago, I'm just going to be abundantly honest. I look for Panda Uaru all the time. I search them at least once a month, and I search the common things. Panda Uaru for sale, online, Canada, you know, all the keywords when you're looking for something. Ooh, a free hat. It's wet though. One of these bags are leaking. Yeah, that's not good. The leak. What's this? A free mug. That's kind of cool. Thanks, guys. Free hat and a mug. I don't really wear hats, but I will. Ooh, and stickers. Everything's wet though. I went to Aquarius across Canada. I think it's .ca or .com, something like that. Actually, let me justify that. Doesn't say. Says the price though, my receipt. I found them. I didn't care if they were expensive. It's been 15 years, Joey. You have a tremendous amount more experience than you did back then. What are you scared of? You kept a tremendous amount of fish and types of fish. Like, yeah, everybody has that fish that they're kind of nervous and scared about. And a very common one for a lot of hobbyists is the discus. Too finicky, too expensive, too much of a risk. I never thought so. I had so much success with them, and so I found them so easy to keep, but I used certain methods that I trained and taught many discus keepers. And to be honest, I meet discus keepers all over the world all the time that thank me for that and helped me unlock those doors. I'm like, why am I so scared of Uaru? Anyways, searching them up online, and I found them, and I jumped all over them. I wasn't able to buy them right then, though, because I had to go to, I believe I had to go to Atlanta, and then I had to go to California. But so this store in British Columbia, and it's a fish store, so you can like go in. They held these fish. My intentions were like 2 weeks. They held them for a month. Finally, 2 days ago, I processed the order, paid, and they're here. Downside is they were in shipment for about 40 hours. That's not big of a deal. Listen, I just want to say something right now. I've never seen Panda Uaru in person. Maybe you have. Maybe they're not rare for you. Maybe you see them all the time. But believe it or not, everybody all over the world has different availability, different costs, different etc. With shipping, each one of these fish cost me about $100 or $95 Canadian for 2-inch fish. Okay. I gotta be honest, man. I wasn't expecting them to be this healthy after that type of travel. I'll also be even more abundantly honest. Here's a video they sent to me of their adults that they had. I want you to just sit there and drop your drawers, drop your jaws. Absolutely gorgeous fish, just completely and totally exotic to me. It's like a fish that comes from another planet. And they go fantastic with other Uaru and Severums and even discus, but they do best with their own kind. However, they also benefit from having tank mates like Corridora, some types of tetras, other fish that aren't going to be boisterous. And that's one of the things that we have to do is not only are we going to be adding the Panda Uaru to this tank, I can't believe I just said that, but we're also going to be getting other fish to go in with them. I got the small size because I was going to get the big guys, and it was only like a $30 jump. Not that big of a deal for big Uaru like that. But I thought to myself, Joey, if you get the big ones, you know why you're doing it. If I got the big ones, it was only to impress you and only to give this a wow factor immediately. But if I get the small ones, I get to enjoy and experience going from this to this and going through that transformation. And to be honest, now you get to do it with me. I think it's a much better idea. Given the fact that the gallery is heated and not the tanks, acclimation for these guys will be perfectly simple. They do provide a acclimation form, and I'm not going to follow it. Oh, wait. Do you know why I said I'm not going to follow it? Because I don't believe in anybody else's acclimation. Well, I do. Whatever works for you, works for you. But I do what works for me time and time again. I'm going to do, and they have the same one. This is how you know it's a good store. They know the acclimation. They say turn the lights off. I make videos, I got to keep the lights on. They say, well, to float the fish. Bring them up to temperature. Turn the lights off. I just keep them in here. I just got to open this box and let them acclimate to the temperature out here. 15, 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, they'll be ready to be added. The next thing I'm going to do, and man, pause this, if it'll focus or whatever. So get your packing slip, compare the fish, inspect the fish while still in the bag. I'm not going to haul them all out. I got 12. I got 12 because I want 8. And I expected I could lose a couple in shipment. I could, you know, after a couple days in the tank, sometimes fish simply just don't make it regardless of your efforts. But you guys do know that I always get extra. Why? I want to get a pair. I want to breed them. I want to breed them, and I want to breed my rays. Now, black diamond stingrays. I had those guys for 6 years. Black diamond stingrays, my entire ray hobby focused on one day getting them, and I finally eventually did. Panda Uaru, 15 years. What if I breed the Panda Uaru? What if I breed the rays? And what if the pups and the babies from the Uaru one day make it in a tank together? Okay. Turn off the, inspect the fish. If there are any mortalities, take a picture with your camera phone while in the bag. Somebody that's been in the hobby for a long time has done this and wrote up their DOA, which is their policy, dead on arrival policy. Turn off the lights. Step 5, float the bag. 5 to 15 minutes in aquarium water if the bag is very cold. Otherwise, skip this step. Fish become hyperactive and use more oxygen when exposed to bright light and warm up. For me, I'm just going to acclimate bait to the temperature of the gallery. The bags are not that bad, but one of the things I don't want to do is cause any shock when I add them directly to the tank. Step 6. You guys have watched me do this time and time again, and I even go down the road of why. Set a net over a bucket. This is what I brought in earlier. Cut the bag with scissors and immediately pour through the net into the bucket. And then transfer the fish directly into the tank. Do not add the aquarium water. The aquarium water could potentially have pathogens, parasites, whatever, but for the most part, it's going to be filled with ammonia because the fish have been in transport. The reason why this is called the plop and drop method, and the reason we do it is simple. During transport, the fish are still producing ammonia, even if they're not eating. Just while breathing, fish produce waste. They're peeing in the bag, they're pooping in the bag. But because of the lack of oxygen in the bag, and they're also producing CO2 while in there. You guys know that the addition of CO2 into an aquarium can lower the pH. At lower pHs, ammonia is not as deadly. We crack that bag open, oxygen and gas exchange occurs, pH shoots up, and ammonia becomes deadly. The plop and drop eliminates that entirely and completely. A lot of people open a bag and float it. Don't do that. Step 8. We do not recommend a drip acclimation, but if you're going to anyways, use an ammonia remover neutralizer in the bag upon opening. Otherwise, you'll be exposing your fish to high ammonia while the dripping is in process. This will burn the gills and give the fish ammonia poisoning. Good job, guys. Good job. Packaging, A+. Fish are fantastic. I love this. I definitely vouch for the shipping as well as their acclimation process. Very well done. Very well done. Aquarius across Canada. That is cool. I'll be coming back. Do you want to know why I'm going back? And sorry this video is taking so long, but there's a lot of things I wanted to talk about. I also want to go back to, they carry a lot of cool fish in stock, so I'm definitely going back and becoming a customer. And I have some more fish I want to order. But I suppose you guys want to see these guys. So they're not going to be much to look at right now. See if I can get them to turn. Very tiny. Advertised at 2 inches. This is very accurate. He's about 2 inches. Very similar in appearance to Uaru amphicanthoids in terms of their juvenile coloration. This guy's more spotted though, whereas the amphicanthoids is more blotchy. Oh boy, nice and fat too. Anyways, that's the fish that we're adding to this aquarium. I wanted to focus on this and bring you guys a part 2 where we actually add them to the aquarium. Part 1, obviously unboxing, talking about a lot of things that I want to bring you up to speed because I'm not going to be able to do that while I'm adding the fish. Anyways, in the next video, we will properly acclimate these guys, add them to the aquarium, give them a few days in the tank. so I could bring you a proper update. I want to give you guys this video now. Otherwise, we add them to the tank and that's that. But I'd love to be able to have a few days with them, make sure they're fine, make sure they acclimate properly, and make sure they're eating, and kind of document that process for you guys. So if you want to see that, you're not subscribed to this channel yet, make sure you do. Or you're going to miss what is arguably the most elusive fish in my hobby being added to one of my aquariums, the Panda Uaru.